If we try to be individuals, we aren't going to get very far, right? Community is what gives us strength. Those relationships, that circle, is what will help us as a society, but even more importantly, it helps us as individuals. My story isn't just my story. My story is my family's story. My family is from Southern California. I was born in Mission Viejo, grew up San Juan Capistrano, Mission Viejo area, and that is the homelands of the Hashimoto people. Having that family, it just gives you a whole different perspective than what I'm exposed to kind of on a daily basis. I see the world differently. It's affected I've seen how things affect me and my family differently than they would affect kind of what we'd consider the general population. Even though I was born in Southern California and my ancestral roots are from Southern California, we moved to a small town in Northern California called Lower Lake. I went to a very small school, graduated with 50 students in my class. Going into Sonoma State, I was intimidated. It reinforced the script I had in my head of, oh, am I going to fit in this new place? And now I got it. Am I going to fit in this new place that's so different from where I came from and what I'm prepared for? And eventually, within a year, I actually dropped out. I was not comfortable. I didn't connect with anyone on campus. So when I dropped out, I went right into Santa Rosa Junior College. When I was at Santa Rosa, I started taking classes and I met people. And I had people that were in more than one class. We started connecting, and it just kind of became like a mini family. And that really made the difference. Anyone with a different perspective, I think that for tribal people, my experience has very much been that everything is important. Everyone is important. And when I say everything, the trees, down to the rocks, down to the water, everything is sacred. Like every person is sacred and has their own being, and every person's valuable and has their own worth. When I tried to be an individual my first time at Sonoma State, I was not successful. When I embraced the community and really found ways to connect, it made all the difference. I went from being a college dropout to graduating with distinction. That's a huge shift. And that was, for me, it was community. So the one thing that is really important about being a leader, being a mentor, is learning who you are authentically. One thing that took me a while to explore was I kept reading other people's definitions and trying to fit into them. And it wasn't until I would kind of expose myself to more and more different things, I was able to kind of say, well, that feels good to me, it resonates with me, it makes sense, or it doesn't. Learning who you really are and how you best communicate and connect with others is everything. Because you'll go from questioning whether you belong to knowing you belong. You're a human being with all of this innate worthiness that you don't have to try to fit in anyone else's box, because once you realize your own innate worth, there's no need to put someone else's label on you. You can be authentically yourself. And then as you learn who you authentically are without trying to be who somebody else thinks you should be, eventually you're going to stumble upon the people you are going to connect with better, those that you can build relationships with better. And you're going to come across something that's going to resonate, and you're going to be like, oh, that's it. But you have to know who you are and be open to letting go of what you think you should be, to learn who you are, to be able to open yourself up. The one thing that I think out of everything that I hope that everyone at ARC can take away is that ARC is special. It is very unique if you allow yourself to connect with the community. With every family, right, there's aches and pains. And, you might have concerns with your teacher or a colleague or with a particular situation that is arising. But we are still community. We are still connected. And there is a special thread at ARC that if you haven't found it, go look for it, because it's there. Once you're connected to ARC, truly connected, it's almost impossible to not be successful.